Okay, and now we have our guest speaker. Okay, special guest speaker, Rene Liaw, our youngest multimillionaire. I'm just going to promote you, Rene, to a co-host so we can see you. Welcome to the call, and thank you so much for taking the time. Okay, co-host, there we go. Hello, Rene, welcome to the call.
Hello, Ifra. Thank you so much. A very good evening to you. I think it is, or morning for you. But again, thank you so much for having me on the call. I want to say good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone in the world, wherever you are. So thanks for having me again.
You're most welcome. You're most welcome. We are so excited. I mean, as you can see, we have a jam-packed home. The majority of the people are indeed in Australia. It is actually getting late for them, almost midnight, but they're all here to ensure.
Wow.
Yes, they want to hear from you. So I don't want to take too long about your bio and everything, but I want you to really walk us through your story, Rene, and share any wisdom that you have for us.
Sounds good. Okay, and you'll be doing the whole translations for me again, as usual?
The majority
okay,
of them, yeah, the majority of them actually understand the English, I'm told. So maybe I'll translate afterwards. So go ahead.
Okay, well, in that case, it's a lot easier for me again. And again, I want to say again, thanks to Ifra for allowing me to join you guys on this wonderful call. And, Australia, been there, I think, almost 3 times now. I actually have a big family in Australia because my dad has about 13 siblings. Most of them are in Malaysia, a few in Australia. So, of course, can't wait till someday I go back to Australia again. I was in Perth. I was in Melbourne last time. My family's in Sydney, and I haven't been to Perth yet, so I can't wait. But nonetheless, of course, I'm just so blessed to be in this company. Just very, very blessed. I'm turning 41 this year, but I was 27 when I first got started. Let me know when you want to cut me off. I'm not sure how long I should go. Oh, everyone speaks English, so that's great. I just saw a comment there, so that's fantastic. Yeah, so I was 27, and at that point in time, I was still working my 9-to-5 job. So I studied in computer science at U of T, which is University of Toronto, the main campus in downtown Toronto. And, my parents, when I was very young, always told me, Rene, go to school, get a good education, of course, get a good job. And so when I finally graduated, I worked for some big IT companies. You might have heard of IBM. So I worked for IBM for about 2 years, but just really did not like the atmosphere, a lot of stress, a lot of politics. And so I changed over to TELUS, which is one of Canada's largest telecom companies. And so I was there for about 5 years. And, really, how can I say that? I think at first I was really motivated, really excited, just graduated, new job, really pumped up, wanted to climb the hierarchy, But I think like everyone else, after you spend a few years, working in a day job, and the routine starts to kick in and sets in, you start to do the math, right? How can you live a better life? How can you have a nicer car, a bigger house? How can you have more time with the family? So all that stuff started happening to me, and I realized that, oh my goodness, with a regular job, it wouldn't give me the dreams that I wanted to have. And back then I was still single. I wasn't married. I was just really kind of geeky looking. I probably still am geeky looking. I used to wear glasses and, programmer clothes, which is jogging pants and t-shirt, and just program all day long. But you know what? I was always hungry. And I think the main reason why was because my dad and my mom were not wealthy. They came to Canada with just a very little bit of money. They had to work as washing dishes because in Canada they couldn't speak English. So their only option was to wash dishes because you don't have to speak to anyone. You just have to wash dishes, right? And so just seeing my parents grow up and struggle really made me want to, of course, achieve more for my own lifestyle. But one year, I'll never forget this day, we took a trip back to Malaysia because my grandfather, which is my dad's dad, was actually getting older and he actually passed away. And so we went back for the funeral. But when I got there, all I saw was one of my uncles. And again, my dad has, I think it was like 7 brothers and 4 sisters. But anyways, so it's 13 in total, including him. And long story short, I saw my uncle in this huge mansion, And in Malaysia, to own a mansion is just, you have to be the top 1 or 2% in Malaysia. And of course, he had about 9 cars. And my dream car which was the Lexus, the old SC430. It's like a convertible, but back then it was really hot, and he had it. So upon coming back from that trip, I really started to think for myself, what separates the success from people? Because I had previous excuses. Maybe it's where you're born or the parents that you have, but they had the same parents. My father and his brother had the same parents. Yet one was really wealthy, yet one was my dad. And so it got me thinking that, and it made me realize that success comes to those who just go after it. And I realized that having a job or a job might pay the bills, but it won't give you that financial freedom, to leave that legacy behind. And really, with a job, what you build ends with you. You can't pass down your job to your children usually. But with a business, like our business, you can pass it down to your kids and your kids' kids. It's actually a business. So that got me really pumped up. I was always motivated. So I finally came across Opulence Global, and I've seen many things. I've tried many things. I tried doing insurances. I started to apply for my real estate license. I had my own catering business, my own real estate investment business, but nothing was giving me the success or the really quick success I was looking for. So at 27, when I first saw this company's compensation plan, and I saw that it paid to infinity and it could be passed down to your children, the same night I said, I'm in. I hopped on board. And disclaimer, my income is based on my results. And of course, at the time of me building it with my team, but I got to work. And with my first month, I had my first $5,000 check. I never made 5,000 in anything in my first month. And 6 months later, I was earning a monthly residual income of 10,000 a month. And 10 months later, that became 20,000 a month. And after 4 years, I made my first $1 million. But because I was doing it still part-time though, like the key thing is you don't have to quit your job to go and do this full time. I mean, I was part-time for 14 months. I was still doing my full-time job, but after work, I'd start doing the business. Even during work, I might sneak into the hallways or the washroom and do phone calls. So I was so motivated. But 14 months after getting started, I made enough money to finally leave my job. Along the way, met a beautiful lady named Heidi, who's now my wife, and we've been together for, gotta do the math here now, 14 years. Okay, it's like a test, right? How fast can you answer that question, right? 14 years now with Heidi. And she was with me from when I was still a full-time programmer. So she's seen me have the success all the way through, but she's seen the ups. But mind you, she's seen my downs. We all go through up and downs, and that's one thing to expect in a business is you will have some highs and some lows, but just stay consistent. And so funny story though, when we first found out that my wife was actually pregnant, right away we got married, and so we also bought our first home in cash, our first sort of townhome, and we had changed my Honda Accord Coupe to a Lexus IS 250 all-wheel drive, and and that was great. And one thing about this business is you can have the financials, but you can also have the time. I think in my neighborhood where I live right now, a lot of wealthy people, but they don't quite have the time to enjoy their wealth, enjoy the swimming pool in the backyard, for example. And so when my kids were born, unfortunately, my wife didn't have enough breast milk to feed the kids. So from day one, we were already doing formula. And because I was already full-time in the business, I didn't have a job. I literally changed every single diaper and bottle fed my kids every single feeding when they were born. And so because of that, I think the bond that I have with my kids is just, money can't buy that. I mean, I remember back in the days when we would go pick up our kids from the private schools, my wife would go to the front and want a hug, and my son would run around her, literally run around her and hug me. And she was like pissed off, right? But, of course I said, go hug mommy after. And, it's a funny joke, but it just kind of it goes to show that, sometimes bond and relationships that, money can't buy, and so all in all that, since then, of course, our second son was born, and we decided to move back to Taiwan, bought $1 million condo, which we're living in right now in Taiwan. We're actually at my in-laws place. He loves to collect all these fancy Chinese things. I mean, it's crazy, but living in Taiwan now. And after 2 years of living here, we kind of got bored of Taiwan, or we really missed Canada. So we moved back to Canada, bought another $1 million condo. Kids went to private school. We got into, I changed my car from a Lexus to a BMW M5. And just recently, of course, I saw the new Teslas, and I got myself the P90D, which is about a $200,000 vehicle. But the great thing is, in our company, I actually qualify for all the car payments. So I never actually had to pay for my own car. And that's the beauty of this company's car program, is that even in your first month of being in the business, you can start to qualify for your monthly car payments. And so anyways, back to a few years ago now, we decided to upgrade our house, and we bought our first, so we're currently today we live in a $3 million home, which is like a dream come true. We built it from scratch. And then just recently we saw the builders in our area release some new projects, and we thought maybe we could use a slightly bigger home. And so there's one new home that came out. It's about 5,600 square feet, and a very expensive pie-shaped lot. I think the premium alone for that lot was $250,000. And so we went to the grand opening just to see if we might find something. And we fell in love with this one home. It's called the Hero Home. And we actually put down our money for it. So we've already paid our initial deposit of 10%. And we can't wait for 3 years to move into our new, $5 million home. And it's just a dream come true, the life that I have today. And, so if you're brand new on the call, I'm just trying to share my story with you to kind of not to impress you, but to impress upon you that we have an amazing company. Our products just got, Fountain of Life just launched 3 years ago. Majority of the world, 99% have not heard of Fountain of Life. We have a brand new product launching the end of this month, which is our Fairy Sterling. So, if you're looking for the stability and security of a very long-term company, yet the timing and opportunity of like an upstart, we have that right here. Because we went from fashion for the last decade, and we just got into, of course, the Fountain of Life and other health products. So that being said, this business here does require some consistent effort. It's not a get rich quick overnight. I've been doing it now consistently for 14 years. I personally introduced about 175 people, but it's grown to now over 25,000 partners across the world. So if you can imagine, every single time a product is sold in your whole entire organization of 25,000 plus people, imagine earning 8.5%. And that is what makes our company's competition plan so unique. So I didn't spoke for too long, a bit more than you might have expected, but Ifra, you're an amazing leader. Thanks so much for doing what you do. And you have an amazing story as well, but thanks so much for having me today. Thank you.
Wow, wow, wow. Rene, I've heard your story so many times, and every time it's like brand new. I heard something new every single time. Honestly, it's just such an amazing, honor to have you here with us. I know that you're on vacation, like you said, you're out to your in-laws, but you still took the time to join and inspire us. I just want to read what our brother Abdulkader has said here. You may have seen it here. He's talking about how there are many similarities, our company with companies like Amway or other MLM companies, but he's saying that he found that there are few differences, but all of them rely on how many people you bring into the business. I agree with you. It is better to have your own business rather than working for a company. So maybe if you can touch a little bit on how Opulence Global, why is Opulence Global the best compared to anything else?
Wow. I want to say something right away. And of course, thank you for giving me the opportunity to share more. So absolutely, you are correct there. So number one, I think the biggest difference that separates us from, not just from Amway, but from every other company in direct sales in MLM across the world is number one, our products are not priced ridiculously. I mean, in every other company, if you look at how much it costs to maintain a 1 month supply of their health product, for example, per month, and I came from USANA, which was my first company. I was paying $180 for 4 weeks supply of a health product, right? In our company, one bottle of Fountain of Life that can last you a month, call it even a bottle and a half, but one bottle usually only costs in most countries at the wholesale price about what, $60, $70, $75. That's less than half the cost of other companies. So number one, pricing of the product is always helpful. It's not the end all, because Amway still is a huge company, but it does help a lot because to me, if a product is too expensive and we're trying to target the masses, like we're not trying to target the millionaires, right? We're trying to target the middle income families and the low income families who want to not only be healthy, but also to have some great income. But if the products are too expensive, who can the low income family sell to? right? Maybe they're motivated to do the business, but can their friends and family who might also be low income afford those products? And so most people don't have success in actually selling retail the products, whereas in our company, so many people, I think majority of the people have so much success again, just buying and selling the products. And the last part is with Amway's compensation plan, and we could go on for hours about this, but to make it really simple, you have to build a lot of legs wide, and they only pay you about 4 to 5 levels deep or generations deep. So it means whatever happens, so let's say I choose Ifra brings in person B, C, D. After person D, you don't get paid on anything that happens below person D. And that is horrible. I mean, that's not longevity. In our company, you don't have to build 30 legs. You just build 2, which is the minimum in MLM, is 2 legs, but you get paid down to infinity. What that really means, if you really think about it from a logical point of view, would you rather get paid to infinity or get paid to 4 levels? Would you rather build 2 legs, which is easier, or build 30 legs? And that's a lot of work to build 30 legs, right? So that's just a quick answer for that question. I see more questions coming in as well, Efra. I'll just continue on here. How is millionaire life like compared to no millionaire? What is your advice to new members and those who want to join the business? That's a loaded question. What's life like? All I can say is I couldn't imagine life back to the way I used to be, where I used to go shopping and I was always looking at the price tags, quietly looking at the price tags, whether too expensive, too cheap. Or I used to go to restaurants and not be able to order, the appetizers and the steak. I was always ordering chicken and rice, you know what I mean? Not order, alcohol at the restaurants. And even before, even traveling, I used to always stay at the cheapest hotels, hostels, like $30 a night hotels, and not live in the nice 4 or 5 stars or 5+ stars hotels. And life is just wonderful. I mean, when you really start to live that lifestyle, in our company, you don't even have to take that long to get there. I mean, someone like Ifra, who's able to make over 15,000 a month in her first two years or so, like 15,000 a month, you can live a freaking amazing life, And so the beauty is you can live that life early on with Opulence Global. But all I can say is it's worth it. It's worth it, because the other option is if we don't work hard in this business, what's the other option that we have? My old option was work till 65, work my whole life, and hope to be able to retire. And mind you, most people today aren't able to retire because they're still working. I mean, who do you see at Costco or the Walmarts, right? It's retired people. They're not there for fun. They're there because they have to make money still. And so most people work to the age of 65 just to be able to hopefully get a pension of like, what, 1,000 a month, 2,000 a month, not even 2,000 a month. So in this business, my goal was in 2 to 5 years, can I make $5,000 a month? If in 2 to 5 years, you can make 5,000 residual income, which is monthly income, you have done better than people who worked their whole entire life to the age of 65 to get there. And so that's why I would suggest definitely, yes, my advice is to all new people is all you have to do in this business to have success is be consistent in learning, consistent in applying what you learn, and don't be shy to share. We're not selling. We're not in the business to sell anything. We're in the business of just sharing the products, sharing the testimonials, and have the right mindset to want to help others. So another question I saw here was, what are some of the challenges you faced during this journey? Oh my God, that's like another, I could talk for the whole day if I had to go through every single person that was ever negative or malicious or non-supportive of me. I'll say this though, sometimes in business, the people that you hold closest to you and the ones that you hold dearest to you, and you think these people are the ones who will support me above all else, don't be surprised if they're the ones that become your biggest letdown. For me, my father and some of my relatives were the biggest letdowns for me. My dad kept telling me to quit, kept calling it a scam. Rene, it's a scam. It's a scam. Get out. I said, Dad, but no, it's not. If you came to a presentation and listened, you would understand what I'm talking about. No, it's a scam. I won't go. And you would imagine after 4 years, my first 4 years making $1 million, that you would think that my dad would have changed his mind about the business. No, Rene, it's never going to last. It won't last. Go back to your job. You should quit now and get a job still. Because he came from the mentality of the 9-to-5 world, right? Now, I love my dad. I'm not saying my dad's a bad person. My dad thought he was doing the best for me. And we have to understand sometimes people do that, especially our parents. They want to do what's best for us, but that doesn't always mean that is the best for us. The other kind of challenge you're going to have is with some friends. You're going to quickly realize who are really your friends. I think Ifra, myself, a lot of people always have gone through this. We learn that sometimes our friends, they become jealous of you, they envy you, they don't want you, and psychological wise, they don't want you to excel to a higher level than they are. So they want to keep you in their circle of friends, the same level. They're worried that if you get too high up, you might actually leave them. Who knows what? Some people are actually jealous. Some just are envious. Some are just worried about you having a different kind of lifestyle. So you will have up and downs. Try to leave your emotions out of the business. Just try to be consistently sharing the products is my best advice. How did you ignore the negative people? Yeah, simple. You get used to it. All I can say is today, when people say no to me when I'm sharing the product, or they, most people are polite, but or some in the past were rude, but if they ever say no to me, I simply it doesn't bother me, because I'm not doing this business. Or when I get out there to do the business, in my mindset, I'm not thinking of making money from someone. My mindset is, I have an amazing product that I'm sure you or your family can use. I want to share it with you. And if you don't want it, then to me, in my mind, it's your loss. So nothing bothers me. I think in the beginning, of course, you might react to it. You might be negative. You might get offended. Trust me. If you get 1,000 no's, and the only difference between me and you probably is how many rejections I've got. I got so many rejections. I am rejectionless. Like, it doesn't bother me anymore. And that's my best suggestion is how do you deal with the negative people? Keep going through, surround yourself with positive people, number one. Be on our call, because our calls will motivate you. Our leaders, our people, our community calls in this company are designed to teach you, but also to keep you motivated. Because yes, if you put yourself around negative people all the time, guess what? You become negative. If you surround yourself with people like myself, like Ifra, all the other leaders in the company, you will maintain that right mindset as well. And one last comment here. I think the joining fee is very expensive. To me, it's actually really inexpensive. And I'll explain logically why, right? Number one, when I got started 14 years ago, the joining fee was $5,000 US. Right now, it's the top package is $1,875 Canadian. When I joined, it was $5,000 US. In Canadian dollars, it was about $9,000. I didn't have the money. I had to go to the bank and withdraw some of my retirement savings and my RSP money. But even if it was $5,000, is it really expensive? I mean, in respect to what, right? Like, what are we comparing this to? The other option of having a business is, okay, well, you want to have a franchise. Well, how much is a franchise? A franchise is at least what? Nowadays, I think for a McDonald's or a Starbucks or any kind of a franchise, it's over $500,000 for a franchise. Okay, forget franchise. How about a regular brick and mortar store? Well, you have to go and pay the rent. The rent alone on a good location is at least what, $5,000 a month. Rents. That's all it gives you is an empty building. You have to renovate it. You have to design it. You have to renovations. You have to find staff. You have to have inventory. Okay, forget brick and mortar. Let's talk about e-commerce. Okay, so e-commerce website. Well, number one, you have a domain fee, a hosting fee. You have to have someone to design your website. You have to have programmers. You have to have someone to do graphic designs for you. You can't have no designs of graphics. But hold on, you have to have a merchant system to collect payments. You have an accounting team to do accounting. You better have a legal team in business always. And number 9, you have to have inventory. Inventory alone can cost you millions of dollars. So when I first saw the business, to pay $5,000 US to me, to have on day one, instantly, the moment I pay, I have a global e-commerce website. I can sell anywhere in the world. All the marketing, graphic design, accounting, legal stuff is already done for me. That was the bargain. But the fact that when you pay today $1,875 for the top package, like to me, that's already a bargain, but you're getting back more than $2,500 worth of products. You didn't pay a single thing for the business. So that's how I feel. I feel like either you paid for the business, but you got back all that money in products, so you got free products, or you just bought products of $2,500, but you only paid but you got the business for free. So to me, I always saw it as like a no-brainer, because I've opened my own websites before. I've tried hiring my own teams. It'll cost you way more. Like you won't have a business like this ever for just $1,875 or $1,500 for the promo part. So all in all, I think I went through all the questions that we had there. And again, I want to say thank you so much, Ifra. I think my family's still waiting for me, but if there's any more questions, I can take it. Otherwise, back to you, Ifra, as always. You're an amazing leader. Again, I'm so proud of you. And again, thank you to all the people who are putting in comments, Jama, Janan, of course, thank you. Abdi Kadir, again, thank you so much. Hamdi, for all your questions. Nafisa, looking forward to meeting you guys at some point in time. And Arshi, I can't wait to meet you guys sometime in the future. So, Ifra, back to you. Thank you so much. I think you're still on mute, Ifra. Hi, Ifra, you still there, Ifra?
Yes, sorry about that, Rene. I just had one of my clients calling me. I was
no worries.
I'm on a webinar. Let me call you back. Thank you so much, Rene. That was so inspiring. Everybody's loving it. Thank you so much for your time, your encouragement, your mentorship, your support. Like, honestly, team, you have no idea. It is so privileged to have someone like Rene. How often do you get to sit right in front of a millionaire and share how he got there? It only happens in MLM, especially in our company, Opulence. So I want to thank you so much, Rene, once again. I think we're going to let you go. You give us a lot of time, and we'll definitely stay in touch. And watch out for Australia. They actually want to join the top 5 markets this month.
Ifra, you are like the queen of opening new markets. So I have no doubt Australia top 5. Let's go, guys. Have a wonderful day, guys. I know it's getting late for you in Australia. Thank you so much for being up late, and we'll see you all very soon. Okay. Thanks so much, guys.
Renee. Thank you.
Thank you. Nice library. Thank you, guys.